Hey folks, back with the ancient cosmography. I was showing I was trying to read this thing. I was starting this the last video. So this is an article by an Australian Aborigine. Songlines: The Art of Navigating the Indigenous World. For thousands upon thousands of years, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have navigated their way across the lands and seas of Australia using paths called songlines or dreaming tracks. And then this Zugubal 2006, travelers paddle a ghoul canoe, which is a key symbol of connectivity in Zenadkes, Torres Strait cosmology, navigating all the cycles of land, sea, sky, and spiritual life. Australian Art Network. So that's the same as like the Egyptian thing where boats are everything. The sun has a boat. Everything's a boat. All the oldest Neolithic art is covered with boats. For thousands of years, paths called dreaming tracks. A songline is based around the creator beings and their formation of the lands and waters during the dreaming creation of Earth. It explains the landmarks, rock formations, watering holes, rivers, trees, sky, and sea. So the dream time, as people call it, is, not a real time per se, but it's like it's a device to explain things in a, fictional way, to say that like the reason everything is as it is because of this story that happened. And so you just have to set it in temporally. So they just say it's from the dream time. But just by the name dream time is a hint that it's not entirely literally true, even though the truth that it imparts is very literal. Clan groups can, for example, demonstrate their infinite knowledge of place in the songs and dances passed down from generation to generation, in turn creating dreaming tracks for their area. Songlines will often follow on from one another, creating an intricate oral map of place. Earth and water songlines are mirrored by sky songlines, allowing the people to travel vast distances and highlighting the deep connection they have to earth and sea. Songlines are central to the existence of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and are imperative to the preservation of the world's oldest living culture and its practices. Contemporary Zenadkes artists such as Alec Tipoti and the late Billy Missy have used their art practice of lino print and 3D sculpture to express traditional navigation songlines and techniques to a wider audience. Some of their beautiful works can be found at the beginning of the museum's new exhibition, Ships, Clocks, and Stars, The Quest for Longitude, in our Naidak Week exhibition, Munuk Zugubal, Saltwater Songlines. Nice. Munuk Zugubal. So that's like what the Egyptian, a lot of the Egyptian songlines are Munuk Zugubal, although some of them are land ones. Alright, so 91, 92. This, I think, is one of these things. Let's see. Kulba Yadail, old lyrics. The work tells the story of how Torres Strait Islanders learned to read the stars, the moon, and the sea to understand the 4 seasons of Zenadkes. I mean, it's pretty close to the equator, so its seasons, might be it's just south of the equator or not very far south, but it must probably has seasons. Mrs. Linnocut work Kulba Yadale relates how Torres Strait Islanders. I'm just gonna repeat itself, I think. So maybe it's like the stars go here, I don't know, this could be kind of a window into how these things are done, the visual representations. Mrs. Littlecut work Kulba Yadale Old Lyrics relates how Torres Strait Islanders learned to read the stars, moon, and the sea to understand the 4 seasons of the Zenad Kes, and shows the significance of star constellations and seasons in orienting everyday life in Zenad Kes. The work is divided into 3 parts: the constellation of the stars, the land, and the 4 seasons of the Zenad Kes, all of which link together. There are important Zugubal star constellations. Zugubal, it sounds like a Sumerian word. That move through the sky and are intimately connected to the 4 seasons. One of the most important Zugubal is the Beidham shark, which is closely observed in the western Torres Strait as a signal for changes in the tides, winds, and seasons. The 4 seasons are represented as Sagar, southeast trade winds, Gabu, Thornar, winter, Naigai, the calm northerly wind before monsoon, and Kuki, the monsoon. Missy explains, Kulba Yadale teaches us to read the stars, the moon, and the sea. Kulba Yadale describes our environment, our culture, and also our identity. In our culture, the stories and other knowledge of our world have always been handed down orally from generation to generation since time immemorial. It is this knowledge that provides guidance. From the boys' perspective, it is their uncles, fathers, and sometimes grandfathers who teach them this knowledge. The relationship between the stars and the seasons determines when we can cultivate, hunt, and harvest the food from the sea and land. So, that's why, in a way, astrology is real in the sense that based on the stars, you know the season, and to know the season, you know how to conduct your agricultural activities, etc. So yeah. Kaigasu Usul, the sculpture, references star constellations and their relation to the movements of the shovel-nosed shark. Alec Tipoti's sculpture Kaigasu Usul also references star constellations and the shark. Kaigasu Usul means the trail of dust underwater created by the shovel-nosed shark, and is the language of the Malugigal people of Zenad Kes. See, that's like Sumerian, like Lugal, Sumerian for like a lord or something. So this may relate to the Milky Way, like the Dark Rift area, or kind of the heart of the Milky Way, is often referred to as something that was created by the path of some god. So it could be that the trail of dust underwater. I mean, it could be an underwater thing also, but it may also relate to this thing in the sky, since the shark is constellation, So, and that does, that Milky Way area is kind of like underwater sediment, you know. Shark's movement is reflected in the star constellation known as the Milky Way. So there we go. That's what I just said. I guess I was right. The tide always changes when the Usul star constellation swings as though it's dancing with the Kisei moon. That was cool. That was because I haven't read this whole thing yet. I had only skimmed it, so I didn't realize it actually says that. I was like, oh, that's probably the Milky Way. The artist explains this particular mask was inspired by the original turtle shell masks in the British Museum in London, UK. As a Torres Strait cultural protocol, I have not replicated it exactly as the original. Like my forefathers before me, I have composed and choreographed a traditional mask dance only performed by men about the star constellation that brings this mask to life. The something totems depicted in this artwork are the Kagas. The two main totems are the Kagas shovel-nosed shark and the Baidham shark. The Kagas mask. So yeah, and then part of this kind of looks like those stick charts too, the Pacific Island stick charts. Let's see, the Kagas mask alone is associated with the ancient ancestral spirits known to us Torres Strait Islander people as the Zugubal. Gaigai's giant trevally swimming along with the Kaigas shows that this Kaigas is from the deep sea and is called Koe Malu Kaigas. The Kaigas is on top of a shark mask that is also connected to the Zugubal Baidham shark constellation. The masks align on top along the center of the Kaigas represent spiritual Mawa dancers performing a sacred ritual only for the eyes of the elders. Such rituals are only performed when a spirit is traveling to the other side of the planet, which is the opposite constellation, or I mean the opposite hemisphere. Inside the shark mouth is also a Mawa mask. This mask represents the sorcerer or the main dancer of the Kaigas clan picked by the spirits to perform this dance. Songs, dances, oral histories, and intricate masks are all examples of vessels that hold the song lines specific to each community area. Today, contemporary artists such as the late Billy Missy and Ali Tipoti demonstrate their indigenous knowledge through the arts as a modern record of their ancestral and spiritual connection to their identity as Zenadkes, Torres Strait Islanders. And so maybe that's that. But anyway, so it shows it can be these song lines, or these basically this geography and astronomy and whatnot can be represented not just on cave paintings and rock art and songs, but also and rituals, but also in 3D sculptures and such like. It's interesting that in Australia they have the Styx River because it's like people know that they call Australia the Antipodes, and since they know that the underworld is supposed to be in the Antipodes, they place Styx here. But I think the main underworld, I think, is America, though. Even though in some systems, I think Australia could also be a corollary part of it or whatever. Styx River, yeah. And there's some other names around here that are from like underworld stuff, I believe, and also around Antarctica and around America too, of course. Stuff called Avalon and Eden and stuff like that. All right, so these are these Egyptian things called Tknu. TKNU. The Tknu, these are in different, tombs and whatever, painted. So I think these may represent land because they're on similar, like, or at least some of them are on similar platforms as things that are like maps basically of land. Like this one is on the boat, which I think often can represent land, like in the Book of Two Ways. And this one especially looks like one of the diagrams in the Book of Two Ways that seems to be a map of land. And it seems to be related to the Pacific Island stick charts, a similar tradition, because the other versions of this look even more like the stick charts. But anyway, so I was trying to think, like, what could these be? So I took a stab at it. And so this, where are we? So yeah, I think this one, I mean, if it is this, it's retrograde, but that's pretty normal for ancient maps to be flipped around. That's even recognized by the academics, that a lot of these map things are retrograde, flipped. So that it would be this Obi Island in Indonesia near Papua. And,